The next movie you appeared in was an American movie called The King of Kickboxers, which you appear in the beginning of the warehouse fight against Lauren Avedon. And there's also Steve and Jerry Trimble. And I was wondering if you could describe how did you get the part of in The King of Kickboxers and how it all came about.
How did I get the part? Don't remember. I have no idea.
Sorry. Many moons ago.
This is one of the interesting things about some of the, smaller films. Maybe, you're going to work on it 3-4 days and, like, oh, by the way, someone says, I think it was Mark King might have mentioned, oh, by the way, they're looking for a couple of, Westerners and so it's kind of word of mouth, and you say, "Oh, really? Okay, sure, why not?" And then, of course, this is where I first met Lauren Avedon. First met Jerry Trimble, of course, who I had been a big fan of in his PKA days. And Lauren, we stayed good friends for a long, long time. I mean,
wow, that's cool.
Even today, we used to hang out in LA when I moved there, in like 93. I was there for a year. So it was very, very kind of short job.
Because it's a small fight scene only.
It was really quick and what have you. I think for me, the most important thing about just the whole time, the whole experience was never like burning any bridges, Even if you meet someone like for one day, and maybe you might think you'll never work with them again, you'll never see them again. There's always the thing about film, and like would always be after, no matter how short or long the shoot was, one always talked about, you would hear, oh, I have this project, you'd be great for it, give me your contact number. And then many times you never hear anything, you'd stay in touch, which was really smart. And then sometimes, completely out of the blue, you would hear, hey, by the way, I know it's been a long time, and then a year had passed, 18 months had passed, but there's this project, I think you'd be great. Come on down. They're looking for people. So it was always important, and I still live by that kind of philosophy about it's so important to don't burn your bridges and always keep the door open and keep the line of communication open. I still live that way in terms of the work I do today. It's really
hear propositions from different people and see what's best for you. It's open-minded. Open-minded. Very well said. So the next movie, this is a Hong Kong one. You only appear in a scene, but it's still a classic one. It's Retreat of the Godfather, 1991. There was so sorry about that. I love talking.
No, I know. Well, the thing is, you know what? This is so crazy. I did about a year ago. I did a presentation, or I was asked to do this appearance in London, and they were showing to introduce me. They had this compilation. I'm looking at the compilation. I'm like, I don't think that's me. I don't recognize that film at all. Well, what is that film? So I asked the person, I said, do you mind sending me the compilation you put together? It was like, I don't know, 45 seconds or something like. So he sent me it, and I was looking, and I looked through it again and again and again. I'm like, freeze framed it. I'm like, yeah, that is me, but I don't recognize the movie at all. Which movie is this? And so I had to go back, and I said, what movie is this? Dick Way in it, and I don't remember doing a movie.
Bruce Fontaine, Wayne Archer. You fought Dick
exactly.
Way.
And then I see Bruce Fontaine and Wayne Archer.
And I'm
like, what movie was this?
Richard.
I don't remember this. to this day, and of course now I know what it is, but at the time, after all these decades, not Nadir, not a clue. I don't remember doing it. I don't remember being on set.
Wow.
And I don't do drugs or
no,
drink alcohol.
No. I believe you,
so,
because
you know what I'm saying. So that's the thing. It's like,
yeah.
Okay, if I don't remember being on the set with Bruce Fontaine and Wayne Archer, or doing that fight scene and wearing that, I said, I do remember that shirt I was wearing, but I don't remember any of it.
Yeah.
Maybe there's other films I did that I don't remember them either.
In the movie, you only appear in that scene because I went back to check each scene. At the end, when there's the big fight with 𝗦𝗨𝗕𝗦𝗥𝗕𝗥𝗦, at the end they show bloopers like Police Story. They didn't show the one when you fought 𝗥𝗘𝗥𝗕𝗥𝗦. It was different scenes, but it was funny blooper scenes. I know you don't remember the fight, but when I rewatched the fight, you fought one of the guys I'm a fan of. He plays so much villainous in any Hong Kong movies, 𝗥𝗘𝗥𝗦. That guy was just, wow. I mean,
and from what I always understood, not just a film fighter, but like a real tough guy.
Tough guy, yeah. Like Billy Chow. These two were...
Yeah.
Wow. The biggest one to come is Operation Condor. The second one. This film, at the time, when you got cast, was it Jackie Chan who proposed to you to star in this movie when he saw your performance in Allah Brothers at the time? Did he... Was he... No? How it all came up?
There was kind of a notice went out that went around to all the Westerners, say, hey, Jackie Chan is doing a new film and he's casting, he wants a big Western cast. It's kind of like a Indiana Jones style film.
Yeah.
And so there was a huge audition for it. And there was probably a dozen of us who were doing all the film at the time. We went up to Golden Harvest, and I mean, they were like, I'd never had such a lengthy audition. We were jumping through hoops. I mean, it was crazy, you know, falling off of chairs, jumping over tables. I mean, crazy stuff. I'd never done an audition I don't think any of us had done an audition quite like this. Wow. So did the audition, never heard anything.
Mm-hmm.
So now at the time, I was now being managed. So I had a manager, unlike any other Westerner at that period, who used to be a producer for Samo. And now maybe Grace was asking too much money. Who knows why I didn't get chosen at that period. So it wasn't until they were like 6 months into the film, because you know how long this film took. It was like, number one, over budget, number one, over time. And then the original script that Aldo Sambrell had written, Jackie just kind of didn't go by it, and he was kind of making it up as he was going along, you know. And then the original director got ill, so Jackie took on that role. So, you know, it became, as they have made a comparison, it became Jackie Chan's like Apocalypse Now. If anything could go wrong on a film, it went wrong on that. And so they had no idea what they wanted to do with the film. They realized, as always, in every Jackie Chan film, they have to build up to this kind of climactic, you know, resonating ending.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to start the audition process again. They were looking for two people. I had a friend who was an Australian martial artist, 𝗥𝗘𝗔𝗖𝗛𝗪, did a lot of TV, good martial artist. He went up to audition. He didn't get the part. The only other person was Mark Houghton. He didn't get the part. I went back up to the studio, and they wanted me to go through this whole audition process again. And I looked over at Chris Lee, which was one of Jackie Chan's main stunt guys, who I had first met on In the Line of Duty 5.
Mm-hmm.
I said, Chris, man, I said, how many times have we worked together now? I said, I'm not jumping through hoops again. I said, I did that 6 months ago.
Yeah.
I said, you know, I can do this stuff. So if you want to hire me, do it, because I'm not going through. I'm not going to spend all day jumping around again. So I stuck to my guns, and yeah, I got hired. And they couldn't find anyone else, but they needed someone else. So who will they always use? They use Kenny Lowe. They dyed his hair, try to make him look like a Westerner. And that's how the story goes. Yeah.
Regarding the ventilation chambers, alongside the Ken Lo, you got injured. You got your cracked head open. You cracked your head open. Yeah. So when someone is injured in general, compared to American movies, do they take a month break, or how does it work, the process when somebody gets injured?
Well, it depends, of course, how bad it would be, right?
Bad it would be.
Yeah, I mean, but what I had was bad. I mean, I shouldn't have been back on the set. I should have gone home.
Yeah.
I should have gone to the hospital. But they basically put some duct tape on the back of my head that was split open, and had to do the same scene again 15 minutes later.
Wow, only tape, not even like stitching bat or
no.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I know Jeff Falcon got injured in another film he did with Cynthia. I think it was Inspector.
Yeah, Inspector Wears Skirts, when the women fighting
hit him square in the head.
Ooh.
Yeah, so and Cynthia too has been injured, and it's like suck it up and get back on the set. So yeah,
they put a tape behind your head. I mean, were you able to still fight? Was it difficult?
I mean, he said, Jackie, I remember his words was, take a rest. We're going to do it again in 15 minutes. But it wasn't 15 minutes, because to set up the shot, especially the wire and the whole thing, it took way more than 15 minutes. It took maybe, it'd take more than a couple of hours to set the shot up again. So it's not like I didn't have time to actually rest. Yeah.
But how many times did you flew up the air through the ventilation? How many times did you do it until the injury happened? I mean, it must have been really brutal.
We did it a bunch. I mean, with Jackie, I would say on the average, 30 takes.
30 takes. Wow.
Yeah. Of each shot. 30 takes.
30 takes.
And by the time you're at 30, you're so wasted. I mean, you don't have any energy. He probably would have taken the first 3 or 4. Those are the ones he's going to use. But he always wanted to be sure. He was a perfectionist, at heart. So he just wanted to be sure that, he had the best ones. Yeah, whichever ones he was going to use or edit. Yeah.
Between the final fight against Jackie, it was you and Ken Lo against him. Originally, the fight was going to be you against Jackie. There was going to be maybe Steve or Bruce. Was there like a decision regarding who was going to fight Jackie at the end of the final fight?
Well, Jackie knew what he wanted. Interestingly, the scene where we're inside or underground to find the gold, and the scene where those big doors open and I throw Steve the key to open it.
Yeah.
Steve had told me that day, he came up to me and a few of us, he says, I just heard I'm going to be in the final fight scene. And I said, I don't think so, Steve. I said, I don't think you are. He says, no, I heard it. I said, okay, fine. I said, I heard different, but I said, don't listen to me. So then I heard from someone else, and he said, yeah, Jackie said, Steve's dead, going to be killed off tonight. I said, he said, Jackie's tired of Steve's shenanigans.
Wow.
He said, he's had enough of it. He can't take it anymore. Steve dies tonight. I said, okay, that makes sense. So if you freeze frame that shot, when I throw Steve the key to open up the thing and then the gun turret.
Open it up,
kill him. Look at Steve's face when I throw him the key. He looks at me.
I need to rewatch it.
Because he just learned that he's dying.
Wow.
But like 15 minutes before, this is your death scene. When he thought he was going to be in the ending.
Oh, that's sad.
Fight scene with Jackie, he finds out you're dead, you're finished. They're going to kill you off right now. So when I throw him the key, his face says everything. His face looked really pissed off. That was it.
That was it. Wow. Oh man,
you get money and you're out of here, man.
It's funny how life works in a mysterious way. My God.
Yeah.
Wow.
It does work in a mysterious way. As I always yeah. The entire film took 18 months.
18 months, okay. But the final fight was basically how many weeks?
Oh my God, it took okay. I always know the number because I've said it so many times over the years. There's one period where I worked for 39 days straight without even a day off. And during that 39 days, for 5 of them, I was going from one set to another. I was first going to 𝗦𝗨𝗕𝗦𝗥𝗕𝗥𝗦, who was and 𝗥𝗘𝗕𝗦𝗕, who were directing Fury in Red with Conan Lee.
That's the next one.
For a couple of days.
That's the next one.
And then I was going to Robotrix also. So it wasn't until Jackie went to see 𝗦𝗨𝗕𝗦𝗥𝗕𝗥𝗦 and said, look, I understand Vincent's in this film and he's got one of the main roles with Robin Shaw. He said, kill him off. Find a way to kill him because he's working with me and I need him like fully on my set.
Yeah.
So they killed me off. I was supposed to be all the way through the film in Fury in Red. Again, I get kicked in the ocean and I'm drowned. I mean, come on. This is why I'm saying is like, you just never knew with what was going to happen to you in Hong Kong.
Actually, correction, you weren't thrown off with the ocean. I went back to watch that film. You got killed by Ben and G in the scene in the port. He shot you with a gun. That was the second fight, actually.
I did not do the stunt where I get kicked in the water because, you know, it would have been too dangerous. So,
Yeah. I've read online this week that the Kung Fu movie guy, when they did an interview with you, Jackie mentioned that you were one of the best people he has ever worked with. How does it feel to get a compliment from the legend himself?
I don't, I'm humbled, if anything. I'm very, very humbled, And I guess I had seen him, or I have seen him quite a few times since that film. Wow. I went to visit him a couple of times. The last time I saw him was a few years ago when he was in New York promoting his second book. And I was told by Demetrius Angelo, who does the Urban Action Showcase, producer for HBO, and he said, called me up and he says, hey, Jackie's in town in New York? I said, no, I never heard anything. He said, yeah, he's going to be at, Barnes & Noble promoting his book. And I said, you should go and we should go. You should go and see him, say hello. And I said, the line's going to be like, I'm not standing in any line. He said, no, we'll work it out. So we get there, and of course, Barnes and Noble on Madison Avenue, right in Midtown. It's a massive, massive bookstore. And when we got there, really the lines were like around the block, you know, security up the yin yang. And we walk in there, we go up the escalator, and they had made this tent inside Barnes and Noble, and there was security outside. And what basically would happen, one by one, they would go in, and there'd be cameras in there, you know, some news teams, and he was sitting behind. He'd do a quick signing, and they'd do a quick photo, and the next person, you know. And so Demetrius told the security who I was, and then the flap opened, and he was about to sign something or a book for someone, and he saw me. And he got up from the desk, and I came in, and he was like, it was so crazy because I hadn't seen him in a while, but he recognized me immediately. And he came over and he ran at me, and he put his arms around me. You know,
yeah, I saw the clip online. Yeah, it's really cool.
And of course, he screams out, he says, because he's never been able to pronounce my names, because both in Mandarin and in Cantonese, there's no V sound, right? So he always pronounces it with a W. So he screams out and he goes, Vincent, 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 you know. And we talk, you know, for a little bit, and he starts telling everybody in there who I am. And, you know, he asked me about my family. He asked about my son and all this stuff.
Oh, that's good.
So he's a very, very good person, you know. And I think what I most love about him, which I didn't know for a long time, is that, of course, what we have in common is he's a big humanitarian. And he gives away half of his fortune to very, very wonderful initiatives, you know. So, and I didn't know that for a long, long time, but I know he's been doing that for quite some time. So that's a great thing.
Regarding Jackie, I know that there was a stunt team reunion back in 2017 in Hong Kong, and some of them, because I don't understand the Cantonese language, they were saying that at the time, because now the salaries are way much bigger than back then, some of the stunt people, they were mentioning that Jackie brought my first house, my first car, and I was like, oh, wow. But I didn't know he was in a humanitarian regarding
big
that.
Time.
Wow.
Yeah.
So during all this time, have you kept in touch with him?
Yeah, I have a little. I have. You know, it's funny. People will ask me, "Do you have his contact?" I'm like, "Yeah, I have his contact. I'm not giving it to you."
No, no, it's true. You can't give that to strangers, you know.
So funny because just someone asked me. I was giving a lecture at a school just a few days ago, and someone said, where do you live?" I said, "Well, in this area." "Well, what's your address?" I said, "Why am I going to give you my address?" So I'm not going to tell you where I live. I said, "I want my privacy." You know?
No, you're absolutely right. You need to know the person first, and then able to make trust. That's what I do.
And even then, you know, it's like, I'll give you my email. I'm not giving you my address.
The reason why I'm asking you this is because, you know, I didn't tell you this story. Here in Montreal, Canada, a lot of actors came here to film movies in general. There's always Adam Sandler, Jennifer Aniston, any Hollywood actor. And the last couple months ago, before I contacted you regarding the podcast, there's the new Karate Kid, which I sent you the trailer regarding Jackie, with the continuation of Cobra Kai, the TV show, and the original franchise. And so when I heard that Jackie was going to be in Montreal, because here's the thing, I'm a huge Jackie fan. I want to go to the Old Port, Montreal, and see if I could take a photo or talk to him, you know. And so I forgot that they were shooting in April till June. So I went in May for 2 weeks on Saturday and Sunday to see if I'm able to locate him and just take a photo. And I was like, oh man, I cannot believe I forgot about last month. And because they were shooting the whole segment Karate Kid in the old Chinatown, Montreal, and they were shooting a lot of places in the old port of Montreal. And I was like, oh man, that's too bad. I didn't get the chance. Yeah.
Nadir, what's interesting about the timing of that is that
Yeah.
you probably know by now is that they showcased a remastered 4K version of Operation Condor at the Cannes Film Festival last May. And yeah.
I didn't know that. I swear I didn't know that.
It was, I found out about that from a friend of mine in England, and he sent me a text. He says, by the way, do you know that Operation Condor is being showcased at the Cannes Film Festival this year? And I said, what? I said, that, are you sure? So did some checking, and there it was, the poster and everything. And I said, goodness, how here we are at, it was like 10 days, or not even, it was maybe a week before this was going to happen in this past May. And I called a few people up. I said, do you have any connections? Do you know anybody who's involved? I said, at this late date, it would be impossible to get tickets to go. This is, Cannes is like the Oscars, it's like people have gotten tickets a year ago. Rick Myers told me, he says that you should contact the distributors, find out the distributors. And he sent me and I sent some emails, a couple of days, didn't hear anything, sent emails again, and didn't hear anything. And I said, you know what, that's it. I'm getting on a plane, I'm gonna go. And whether I can get in or whether I can't, I'm still gonna go. So my connection was Amsterdam. And I'm in Amsterdam and I'm checking my phone, and there I have a bunch of messages from the distributors. We got your email, we're so excited, you're gonna be here, this is amazing. We're gonna pull out the stops. You'll be the only person, because we're having a huge showcase. It's sold out, it's like 1,500 people on the beach, deck chairs, this massive like IMAX screen. So they said, let us know when you land. And so I get there. And so I said, Jackie Chan's done 150 movies, man. Why are you showcasing Operation Condor? I mean, come on. I mean, I'm glad, otherwise I wouldn't be here. And it's always been on my bucket list to go to the Cannes Film Festival. So to be there for a film that I was in many decades ago, right? And it's sold out. So I said, well, does Jackie know about this? Is he here? So the distributor, who's very, very close, worked with Jackie for a long time. They had come from Hong Kong. We call him up. We so crazy, really, to think about these things. And said, Jackie, man, where are you? Your film is being showcased. He said, what are you talking about? What film? This Operation Condor, man. They're showcasing it in Cannes right now, tonight. You should be here. He says, nobody told me. I said, where are you? He says, I'm in Montreal finishing Karate Kid. I said, oh, for Lord.
Oh, my God.
So, so to be introduced on stage, here I am, the only person, the only cast member, not even Jackie is there, of Operation Condor. So I took all the, whatever you want to call it,
Not even the Western guys or Carol Duchang, not even nobody.
Just me. So, it was, again, another kind of surreal experience, being there and seeing, like, I mean, the thing was sold out. It was unbelievable to me.
Wow. Oh man. It's crazy how they all were. It was between April and June when they were filming Karate Kid.
Right. And Cannes was in May. I think it was like end of May. Yeah.
Wow.